It is time. It is that time again. It is that Monday time again.
We're back.
We've made it through another Monday.
I didn't think it was possible, but here we are.
Yeah. Today wasn't too bad of a day, honestly. Was fairly busy, but didn't get that much stuff done, I guess. I don't know. I was busy. I stayed working, but I didn't get virtually anything done. Like, actually completed.
Today was pretty chill. Having not had work today.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, my work, they laid off my department, so I'm not sweating. I've already got my next thing planned out, so I'm just transitioning into that this week. I'm kind of relaxing this week for the most part. Probably move my tools and stuff into a new shop Wednesday. It's gonna free up a lot of space in my garage. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had all your tools in your apartment garage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna miss having tools right below me that I can walk down to and do whatever I want. So we'll see how that goes. I foresee myself buying a toolbox and getting some random tools, but I don't know.
I'm surprised you hadn't done that already, but I have also worked in dealerships and had, duplicate tools at home. And then when I left the dealership, now I've got multiple sets of tools at my shop. So like I've got four full toolboxes here that all have like the same tools in them.
Yeah.
And then but I'm always still looking for tools. Like they're somewhere here. They're all in the shop. They don't get lost. I just have to find them.
Yeah. No, not having my tools here won't be too bad because it's still like a small, like, it's not like a dealership. I'll have the keys and access to this shop if I have to do something like on a weekend. So I'm not like out my tools. I can still go over and use them or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
A little less convenient, but I'll still have access to them.
Yeah. Tim says he forgot about the chassis drop today. Well, you just missed the last one sell about, 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Gold.
Those of you who got one, I think you're going to be really satisfied. Honestly, I thought about keeping one for myself. They actually are. They're pretty attractive looking. Especially all the carbon bits. It's a little chaotic getting all the parts back and forth between me and you, but worth it. That's a nice kit. Which don't sweat it. We're gonna have another drop the beginning of next month. I didn't realize the confusion that might have ensued having announced stuff on April Fool's Day. But here we are.
Yeah. They lasted just over an hour and a half. Big Jeep, little Jeep. Just over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And John, great. Glad you like them. Sold a set of 4.19 landmines the other day to a local guy, John.
Oh, nice.
They were just in my tire bin. Needed to get out of there.
I guess while we're here early on, I guess I'll let on that we'll have these Friday. Black anodized C1 Pro leafers. Again, not as flashy as the gold, but the anodizing's pretty nice. For those of you interested, should see those on the site Friday.
Yep. Since we can't get wheels, how them shirts coming along? I thought you were doing the shirts, Theron. You were doing hats. I thought you were doing shirts. No, I need to go over and talk to the guy that the guy stopped into my shop, and his truck was all wrapped in his apparel business, and I sent him the files for everything. He says, "Yep, I'll get right on them." And I said, "Cool. You want me to pay you right away?" He goes, "Nope, we'll take care of it." And that's the last I've heard from him. It's been like 5 or 6 weeks now, probably. So I think I'm gonna go over there and be like, "Hey, maybe you want me to pay you?" It's like, I designed the shirts. Everything's designed. He has the files for them, but didn't want to take my money at that time, so I'm assuming I got put on the back of the list. So I don't know what it is with not being able to get that shit done, but
I do got another. So the Land Cruiser that I went to, I got a contact for who did their shirts because they were able to do sleeve printing and everything too, which I thought was kind of cool. And the guy does it in his spare time. So worst case.
The part that sucks about that is like we need quantities that doing it on the side is a pain in the ass, but we don't need them in quantities that like big shops care about. You know what I mean? We're kind of like right in the middle. Like if we need 500 shirts or 300 shirts, that's a lot for somebody that's doing it a couple hours a week. That's a lot of work. But like for a big shop, that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work. They don't give a crap about that. They want to run the same job all day long.
Yeah.
But shirts don't sell on the website. They just don't. They never have. Every time we have shirts and put them on the website, maybe one a week sells. The only time they really sell is at events. And realistically, at this point, I am thinking the only real big event I'm going to get to is Crawlapalooza, because I'm not going to Super Shafty and I'm not going to ECC. So that pretty much just leaves Crawlapalooza. Even like Axial Fest, the shirts didn't sell because it's more of a comp. Like even setting up a booth at Axial Fest didn't really sell a whole lot of stuff because we're more comp oriented than trail. So that stuff just didn't really sell that well. It's hard to justify having $3,000 worth of shirts in a cardboard box under the workbench that sell one a week.
Yeah.
Speaking of C1 Pro, any idea when you'll have servo mounts in? There are some blemish dual servo mounts in stock that have brass inserts in all of the holes. There's nothing wrong with the dual servo mounts at all. They got brass inserts installed in them to repair oversized holes. But otherwise, they're 100% functional. Those are in stock. I don't know where you're at as far as another batch of non-blemish ones, but
Yeah. I gotta get that order in. I'll probably do that tonight.
clothing is just too expensive in general. I don't disagree with you. It's just it's unfortunate the way it is. If we wanted like the cheapest bottom of the line shirts, we could sell a t-shirt for $10 or $12, but I don't like the feel of the cheapest t-shirt you can get. I like the lightweight, thin, soft t-shirts, and they're not the cheapest thing to have produced. So
Right. And then like especially down here, I'm gonna be out in 100+ degree temps. I'm not the really thick cotton stuff, man. It's not good. And also,
yeah.
you could combat that by getting like a lighter color shirt, but that doesn't really hold up. It'll look pretty tarnished pretty quick.
Well, yeah, we working on things for a living. You have dirty hands, and light colored shirts and dirty hands don't get along. So
Yeah, not one bit.
not everybody works in the dirt, so people could wear light colored shirts, but when you go to a comp, you're out in the elements, so it's going to get dirty there too.
Right.
Why didn't you put brass inserts in the skids that got misdrilled? Because brass inserts don't work in Delrin. And the diameter of hole you have to drill to put a brass insert in is basically the same thickness, the same diameter as the thickness of the skid. So there's not like a whole lot of material left on the edges. But yeah, it doesn't work in Delrin anyway. No one wants a brazen mankini.
Yeah, got a couple requests for a crop top and a mankini.
Yeah, I'll get right on this.
I'll get that. Yeah, I'll get that in under the same batch as the Speedo.
A thong or two.
Oh yeah, see, Josh is on board.
Yeah. Anyone else jumping on Josh's build along? I definitely plan to. So Wednesday at 10 a.m. West Coast time, whatever that is, on his website. Yeah. Yeah. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time is when that will go live on Wednesday here, Eastern time. So I'm going to do that, and I have 2 steering F10 portals, and I have a VFD twin. So I think I'm going to go VFD twin and 4-wheel steer on it. I think I've got 25-ish feet of 3/16 DOM stainless steel here right now. So I need to order filler rod, and then I'll have to order, whatever other parts go along with it. But I'll find out what all that is when it gets released. I will not be at Beat the Creek. I will be in Michigan with the family that weekend, unfortunately.
I will not be at Beat the Creek. I am in Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Carhartt thong. That sounds very. That sounds like a lot of friction. Sounds like some chafing going on.
It'll be like a belt sander in between my cheeks.
Yeah.
That's what Josh wanted to envision.
Yeah. Thinking about changing my Phoenix to a flat rail. What fits without too much trouble? Thinking ATL V2. ATL V2 or ATL Pro V2 would be the easiest one to use the Phoenix skid plate in. You'll be able to use the skid, the links, the shocks, the axles. But you would need our rails, our servo mount, our panhard mount. And then whatever chassis bracing, aluminum standoffs or whatever for chassis bracing instead. You wouldn't be able to use the factory Phoenix bracing. Hibner says he's planning to join in on the Harley Designs build, F10 portals. And Josh will be at Beat the Creek. He keeps trying to get me to go, but I'm already have plans. Banana hammock chassis incoming. I don't know about all that.
I could make like a brace that goes here to here and make it like thong shaped.
Yeah, you should.
I'll get a pink powder coat.
Tim says his front line did great this weekend. Great to hear. Ooh. Anyway, did you mount that mini skid upside down in that chassis?
I did actually.
I thought I saw that.
Let me tell you, I thought I was making good time this morning, and then I looked and my phone said like about 2:00, and I was like, I swore it was like 11:30. So, yeah, it is upside down.
That's what I thought.
They're not coming pre-assembled, so
yeah. Hopefully the customers can figure it out. Oh man, I'm getting a internet connection is unstable. Warning: we have some thunderstorms going on here right now. It's absolutely pouring down rain outside right now, and I know I just saw lightning.
Sick. Maybe your building will get struck by lightning like that one time.
Like yours did. Yeah.
Yeah. And the alarms are going off. I'm gonna have to cut this short.
Yeah. I know it's been discussed, but portals for C1 straight for C2 or vice versa. I run portals for C1, and I personally run straight axles for C2. You end up with about the same clearance underneath the axle. So the trucks tend to drive fairly similar because your center of gravity will be roughly the same. It's just how I've been running portals for, I don't know, probably 3 to 4 years in Class 1 now, and I've gotten used to it, and that's what I like.
I run weird stuff. I can't leave. I can't run that. I don't know. I have to mess with stuff. I like to tinker around.
Yeah, I like to build something and leave it alone. My Class 1 truck's been exactly the same for 3 years, except the body changed 2 years ago.
There's something to say with that though. Like some of my trucks handle really good. And then my Foreigner on paper should be trash, but I know exactly how that truck's gonna act, so it still drives pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, if I toss someone the remote, they would probably not like that truck, but
Yeah.
once you have so many hours under a truck, you know exactly what it'll do, what it won't do.
Thoughts on the teaser pic of the TGH trans? I saw that posted in one of the TGH groups. They posted a teaser of a transmission, and it's laser cut out of clear Lexan, which is purely for test fitting purposes. The transmission, I guarantee you, will not be Lexan or polycarbonate when it's complete. You couldn't really tell much from the picture. It looks like a fairly small trans, but you can't tell what gear ratios it is. You can't tell what overdrive, underdrive it is. It looks small, and I'm all about that. So we'll wait for more information. I'm surprised. I actually don't have any more information than that. So
you should. We should reach out and see if someone will come on and talk about it.
Yeah.
We have an hour and 40. We'll probably still go over.
Yeah. Remember, it's April Fool's Day today. Don't trust anything you see. That is correct. However, I do know that they've been working on transmissions, and to see a functional prototype, it just happens to be today. So,
is Chris also one of the companies that doesn't play around?
yeah. Spring Super Shafty, is it an off-road park? No, it's at the exact same place as it was previously, as the Fall Crawl, Jeff.
I think I'm gonna try and go to ECC. My current work situation will kind of delegate that, but I'm planning on trying to go. This doesn't seem too far out of reach for me.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm a metric mile away from getting tickets, but I'm honestly good with just being the photo guy.
Yeah. Got to test my Oracle with VFD and F10 portals. Loved how planted it was. Tempted to pick up another and put an Element SE under it. Went with an Oracle and a VFD instead of the Flatline. Was there a reason you went with the Oracle over the Flatline, or was it just because of the skid bolt pattern bolting in with the standard Vanquish skid, not the VRD skid? I pre-ordered the RC four-wheel drive hover truck, so yeah, Did you see that the hover
I did not.
thing?
No, most of my morning was spent drawing, printing, and assembling and taking pics.
Yeah. Oh, flatline didn't exist yet. Got it. The floater, the RC 4-wheel drive floater.
Okay.
The trail floater. Speaking of trail, I totaled my Wrangler this weekend, basically. Went off road and went to Badlands with a buddy of mine, and
with that amount of damage, I don't know how they're called buddies.
Basically, we found. I mean, we've been going to Badlands for 15 years, or 20 years. So we know where like the hard stuff is, and that's exactly where we went straight to. I wasn't there for 15 minutes. We were in the park, but 15 minutes when I crushed the driver's side rocker. We're in one of the rock gardens and just like creeping through, and the front tires slid sideways off of a rock, and there was a rock right below the driver's side rocker, and it just crunched down onto the rocker. So that was a bummer. I'm more upset about the rocker panel than I am about the entire rear quarter panel because the rocker has scratched paint and chipped paint all the way down to the metal, like in multiple places. So like, not super stoked about that. But then we went to what is probably one of the hardest single obstacles there, and like climbing up it, the Jeep bounced sideways and like straight hit the fender flare like straight onto a rock and pushed it straight into the body, like straight in and up on the body, so it like wrinkled and pushed back the quarter like right below the, kind of hard to see in the picture, but got a couple pretty good wrinkles in it.
The fender flare is pretty sturdy to buckle the metal like that.
Yeah, I mean the flare definitely took a pretty solid hit, but yeah, it's totaled now. Might as well wheel it hard.
So you're gonna trailer that down to Crawlpalooza then, huh?
Yeah.
I'll sit at the top.
I guess
of the
I was wrong.
waterfall.
Spring shootout is at Roush Off-Road Park. Sorry, I was incorrect about that. I think I'm going to bail on Axial Fest and go to Proline by the Fire instead. Probably not a bad idea. Sorka's post was spot on for being April Fool's. Sorka posted that since the Sorka members had gotten beat by things other than air in the tires, they were banning everything except air inside tires. You couldn't run foams or anything.
We're going back to that. What was that company that made? Was it Integy that made that pump up tire?
I think it was Integy, but
That sounds like an Integy thing.
yeah.
Wait, was them doing Tesla parts? Is that also April Fool's or?
Dude, I don't know. I see that too.
They have control arms and knuckles for Tesla
for
Model 3s.
Teslas. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, whatever. It's just just an 08 JK.
It was
Rubicon.
G that did that.
Oh, it was G-Made, yeah. Any idea when the high-low sliders will be in stock? We don't have Delrin sliders. They were printed sliders. I think that design needs to be updated to fit the 23 chassis. I think that was the holdup on that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Man, to be honest, the aluminum ones kind of outsold those like 10-1 anyway. So I kind of keep what sells popular or whatever's popular. I try to keep that in stock. So if something, I mean, I can always get stuff made to order if you got some time, but for the most part, I'm just gonna carry whatever's popular.
Yeah.
That is one of the things about like me and you doing parts in house. We can upload and go and make stuff quick. You know, we don't
Yeah.
have to wait 3 months, 6 months from a supplier.
Yeah. Unless it's t-shirts or wheels.
Unless it's t-shirts or wheels.
Yes, the aluminum ones are very light. They're a thin enough material that you're not adding a ton of weight to the chassis.
Yeah, I mean, I was concerned about bending, but I've not seen anybody bend these. I don't know. They've been good. That's why I just keep these in stock. Um,
Like even the factory Vanquish aluminum sliders, they're probably half the thickness of what ours are. I mean, you can bend these pretty easy,
yeah, these.
but I've not seen anybody complain about bending ours.
Yeah, this is the thickest I could like hand, um, like press break these without like stressing out the joint. Because you can see like I've done thicker stuff. Like I was experimenting with like thick panhard mounts, but you start to split the aluminum, and then by the time you like, unless you superheat it, but there's like a fine aluminum's pretty hard to heat and manipulate.
Yeah.
And then by the time it cools, it does like retract back a little bit. It's kind of a pain. Um,
Yeah.
but I think with this thickness, I found a happy medium. So
Yep, I think they're fine. James says I have the aluminum high-low sliders, weigh almost nothing. Yeah, they don't weigh very much at all. I'd argue that the printed ones are probably about the same amount of weight, just because they have all the extra webbing and everything to keep them from breaking.
yeah,
There's a lot more material on them.
and I want to say they're more expensive. Like they're more expensive for us to get made too.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, Friday, C1 Pro Leafers anodized aluminum black. They
I could
will have.
probably, I'll upload some pics of this after the live
Yeah.
because I don't know. I guess unless the screen it just looks like a normal. Looks like I could have Krylon this.
Yeah.
But it is cool. It's nice. I think
Um,
it is aluminum, but I think the anodizing does further protect from like oxidation and stuff. But
yeah. And you're
other
gonna
than that,
do
it's for looks.
that was gonna be with a. Is that just gonna be chassis rails
Just
with
rail,
shock
yeah,
hoops
yeah, because
with shock tabs in the rear?
because this is a Blim DSM. Um, because I don't have any of the good like the regular DSMs. I just have the Blims. I'm not going to offer that with as like a kit. So it'll be just the rails, the leaf spring bushings, and the rear shock tabs.
Yeah.
Pretty basic. Cut down the
Um,
cost too. I was hoping people weren't like sticker shocked at like this whole kit, but
Sorry for asking so many questions. Have recommendations on chassis spacers to use. You can get 67 or 70 millimeter spacers from Hardcore RC, or you can find them on Amazon as well. The nice thing about the ones from Hardcore is they have a 4 millimeter hole, a hole down the middle with a 4 millimeter tap.
like
You can run set screws for body mounts. Makes removing the body a lot easier. Or, I mean, if you just get the regular ones without the hole in the middle of them, you can use go to Lowe's and get the plastic P clamps for Ethernet wiring and stuff like that. Just little wiring clips, and you can bolt those to the body, and they act as a hinge for the rear of the body. You just go around the chassis spacer and bolt it together. Do you run the Brazen page, or what's your Instagram so I can look at your stuff? Yeah, the Brazen Scale RC Instagram, Brazen Scale RC Facebook, or brazenscalerc.com. There's also a Brazen Scale RC fan page on Facebook that has, a bunch of members posting all their stuff on there. So, and don't hesitate to ask questions. That's what we're here for, is to answer questions.
Man, just reading it out, or just you saying it out loud, we have a lot of pages.
Yeah, we do. I hate being poor. A couple guys in my group are getting leafers, about to paint up my spare TF2 long wheelbase body, figured out my color combo. You can build leafers pretty cheap, actually. I mean, the frame rail set, that does get expensive. You're $150 built there, plus axles and leaf spring mounts of whatever you choose. But I mean, you can build a reasonable truck for $500, less than $500.
Yeah,
I would say.
Then your friends are going to show up with the Twisted Fabco springs, and then you're
that are $150 a set anyway.
Then it's game over. You're going to be sold. You're going to want to go hog wild.
Yeah. It's a downward spiral.
Yeah. It's with any aspect of any hobby.
Yeah. I feel the pricing on the gold high-lows was less than I expected. Well, we kept it the same price as the standard aluminum high-low kit, but because it didn't include the sliders with the gold kit, we were able to keep the price the same as that, raw kit. The anodizing took the place of the sliders, is what it was.
I don't think this is big enough to get anodized. Also, once I do these bends, man, they're going to be all marred up.
Well, they'd have to be bent before they get anodized. I mean, there's a local anodizing shop here that I take wheels to have anodized. So, we realistically, we could have them anodized, but usually there's a minimum dollar amount. No matter how many pieces you bring, if you bring 10 pieces, it's the minimum dollar amount. So that gets spendy. You end up needing to do 50 plus pieces at a time, which it's only 20. It's only 25 chassis worth of sliders, so it's not that big of a deal, but it is still kind of spendy up front. I have either an SCX10 based frame set or use my VS410 frame set. Yes, a couple have Twisted Fabco leafs. Twisted Fabco also makes I think they do, make a leaf spring conversion kit for the VS410. So if you wanted to use your VS410 kit, I would probably just get their leaf spring conversion kit, would probably be the easiest way to do it. I obviously don't know the cost on that. I've never looked into it. So, but it's definitely worth looking into.
I like watching his Instagram feed.
Yeah.
Just super hands-on everything. He makes stuff like how I do, just by hand. I should start filming. I don't know. See my little tinkering.
Yeah.
No one's interested in. I'm not doing anything that cool.
Yeah. Tim says, well, I think I'm good at getting live streams back up and going. Good to hear, man. I will check in when I can. Normally you go live, it's always on Thursdays. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, I have daddy duties. I get the kiddo in the shower and read books with him and then put him to bed. So when you're starting to go live, I'm doing that. So I'm always just a little bit late, but I will check in when I can. Um, he's still developing the VS410 kit. Good to know. Also, if anybody wants to build a second of the build along chassis, let me know. I'd like one. Well, Tim, like I said, I plan on doing it. So if my first one turns out meh, I'll sell you that one and I'll build a new one that's good. I think that's how I'd handle it anyway.
I think that's how Josh is doing too, isn't he? Sending his first one to Matt.
Sending the first one to Matt, yeah. Which I shipped Matt's chassis to him on Thursday of last week, I think. So he should have that in the next few days. What is the build along? Harley Designs is doing a build along series with building moon buggy type We Rock, We Rock RC type build, where he has made all of the templates for all the 3D printing jigs and all that stuff. Speaking of, Harley's in here now. So he's got all the printed jigs for all of the chassis all set up. And then he showed there was a hood on the one he's building currently. So I assume he's got the hood and side panels all handled. I'm curious to see how the skid plate's going to mount, because the chassis that he was showing just had like tubes on the bottom. So I assume he'll have some sort of a something like this to mount the skid plate to that gets welded in, but I haven't seen that yet. We'll see what it all looks like on Wednesday. Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. California.
Yeah.
10 a.m. California, sorry. I don't know what, is that Mountain Time? And that's not Mountain Time. Mountain Time's different. All Things RC, thanks for checking in tonight. Got to try to fit my TF2 body on the high-low. That will be an interesting one. Trying to get it low enough to where the belly doesn't hang a mile out of the bottom of the body without completely butchering the bed. Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah, you should. If you have any questions, DM our Facebook or Instagram page. I might be able to help you out and make a slider, like a body mount slider for that.
You're still gonna have to cut a decent amount out of the bed.
You're gonna have to figure out this
aggressive cutting. Yeah,
this will be your baseline.
Yeah.
But
yes, all laser cut parts for shock mounting, panel mount, skid mounting, etc. But yeah, definitely send pictures of what you come up with, or if you have any questions.
If you have a 3D printer, I might be able to throw you up some files or something to help out. I don't know.
I do have a high-low and I do have a TF2 body, so.
I have a bed. I don't have a cab. Actually, wait. No, I have bed sides. Never mind. I basically don't have a bed.
Well, the nice thing is that the cab and the bed are like super cheap. You can have a Mojave body for like $35 now. They don't cost anything.
It's when you want that extra cab, that beauty, that's when it gets expensive.
Yeah. Okay, that's what Josh sent me a picture. That's kind of what I was expecting, Josh. I'm not going to show it because it'll all come out on Wednesday, but that's pretty much what I was expecting. So the laser cutting parts will be, I'm sure there'll be a specific file set for those, and then you can just, for the people who are building along, you just upload them to send, cut, send, and have them cut and shipped right to you. Send Cut Send has been actually pretty quick recently on things that I've ordered. I think the last order I placed with Send Cut Send was like 4 days to my door. But now that my buddy Tom's got his laser up, I won't be purchasing things from Send Cut Send anymore. My friend said I'm not going to have any of the bed left. Well, you'll have the sides, and
the only parts to count.
Yeah. I mean, you could just cut slots in the bed where the frame rails line up. You don't have to cut the entire bottom of the bed out. You can just cut slots and then clearance for the shocks. Already uploaded and up to Send Cut Send as a saved cart, and just click checkout. Well, you're making it about as easy as it can get, I think. Hibner says,
Yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait either. I tried to get Josh to take my money about 3 hours ago, and he said, nope, wait till Wednesday.
I heard I got wind that the CEO of Intigi is going to be following that build along also.
Yeah.
He's going to make tutorial videos for the,
Yeah.
we'll call it a shop. The shop in China.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I haven't seen any. I'm gonna jinx this whole thing right now, but I haven't seen any new Chinese knockoffs come out recently. Normally there was like every Tuesday there was new Chinese shit coming out, and I haven't seen anything in a little while. I dropped over $200 a while back. Got the 4-door Mojave and corresponding bed, plus a 4Runner. Got the extended Toyota bed, but the cab is back ordered forever. Well, you can get the other cab. The 2-door cabs are available, aren't they? Intigi, you mean FMS? Yeah. Tim, we talked about that a little bit ago. The TGH transmission teaser, which Josh Harley, one of the TGH guys posted a teaser of their transmission, of a new transmission today. It could be an April Fool's thing, but I don't think it is. So that might be something to look into for Scale News.
Yeah, Josh, you
2-door.
better be on it. We want the deets.
Yeah, we need the details. See what
Come
you
on,
can get.
man.
2-door Mojave is available. Don't think the Marlin cab is. I mean, they're the same, aren't they?
Different body
Yeah.
styles.
Yeah.
No, wait. No.
$99 for the 3D printing files, instructions on what to do, stuff like that. You still have to order and pay for your tubing for building the cage. You still need the laser cut parts. You still need just the general tooling and things like that. So it's going to be much more than $99, but the amount of work that Josh put in for $99 is like
that's crazy.
If 100 people signed up for this thing, he's still losing money. I already filmed Scale News update, but I talked to Chris on the phone 2 hours ago. He didn't say anything. Well, you probably talked to him for 2 hours on the phone, because I can't get off the phone in less than 2 hours with him. I'm trying to remember what page it got posted in. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, I would say my feed's been bombarded with race car April Fools, truck, camping, mountain biking. I'm a I do like just kind of like not look because I was just like I don't know what to take seriously. And also just kind of like a shenanigans overload for me. I was,
I mean, it's impossible to see what's going on. It's clearly a prototype. It's clearly laser cut polycarbonate or Lexan or plexiglass of some kind. You can't tell, what type of overdrive or underdrive or what gear sets are in it. So it's pretty impossible to really see anything from the picture, but that's what it is. Definitely looks like it would have T-case points. There appears to be two sets of gears in it. This first gear that would be the spur gear right here, there's a big gap between the spur gear and this next plate back here. There's a big gap between there. So I'd assume there's a second gear set in there, which would be your T-case points. But again, it is April Fool's Day, so, maybe, who knows. So serious on your opinion, when a knockoff from a company becomes not a knockoff from a company, meaning companies like Endura, Trial, etc. When you can't visibly tell the difference between, we'll use Team Garage Hack for an example because we're already talking about them. When you can't tell the difference visibly between a Team Garage Hack original motor mount and the Chinese knockoff, just by glancing at it, it's a straight up knockoff. The Creeper T transfer case. If you can't tell the difference between a TGH and a Chinese knockoff just visibly, it's a knockoff. The deluxe shocks that have been knocked off recently, if you can't just look at it and go, that's a deluxe shock anymore, it's a knockoff. Now, people will say that TGH knocked off Toizuki's Ford motor mount. They're not the same looking. Is it the same idea? Yes. Is the motor in the same location? No, it's not. Does it use the same type of gearing? No, it does not. Does it use the same type of mounting? No, it does not. Does it use the same materials? No, it does not. So is that a knockoff in my opinion? No. Similar idea, completely different on every other aspect. Companies like Endura and Trial that will get a brand new vehicle and 3D scan the axles. When the SCX6 came out, these companies grabbed an SCX6, 3D scanned the axles, machined them in aluminum, and started selling them immediately. Like, they were out the next day after these trucks were available.
It's actually pretty impressive, the speed.
Yeah. So is that a knockoff? That's a very good question. If the dimensions and tolerances are exactly the same, but it's just in a different material, and it was 3D scanned off an original, that's such a gray area that I don't know that I would call it a knockoff, but like pretty shady, I guess. I don't know. It'd be like me scanning a Vanquish axle and having it 3D printed in stainless and calling it a brazen axle. Like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. So that's also why, like, it's like for us to do for us to get something branded to where, I don't know.
Lost your train of thought there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, patents and trademarks are two. patents and trademarks are a whole thing also.
Yeah. So like a patent, for example, you can't like you could patent that axle, the plastic one, but the patents aren't good for different materials, from my knowledge.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
I think, I mean, you could specify materials in your patent, I think, but I don't know. I've never gotten a patent, so I don't know. I think when it all boils down to it is my personal opinion is if you look at this shock right here and you say that's a deluxe shock, and you look at this shock right here and you say that's a deluxe shock, which one of those two sets of shocks was actually deluxe shocks? Because only one of those sets of shocks is deluxe shocks. Which one's a knockoff? That's
No,
when it's.
I guess if you have something that looks physically the same, I need to hear something about the valving or something's different.
Which one of those shocks is deluxe and which one's not? That's how I determine what's a knockoff and what's not. If you can't visibly tell a difference, it's too far. I missed a comment from Tim, TRD Adventures. The Red Cat ad was the best today. The 17th scale for the guys who just want just a little bit bigger. Josh, is the build along an April Fool's joke on how many people would be able to join? It should be.
You go to check out for the $99 and it goes, I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, no, you can't. It can hurt us on the backside later when selling or buying builds. Like sometimes you can't tell just from the pictures. Well, you can't tell from the pictures, and some people just straight up don't know the difference either. I can tell you that the Creeper T, the knockoff Creeper T transfer case, is not machined at an angle on the bottom. The original Creeper T's are set up for a 6-degree angle on the skid from the factory. So if you mount them on a flat rail chassis or on a flat skid chassis like this, you have to run a wedge underneath the transfer case. You can't see it here, but the Chinese knockoff ones are machined flat on the bottom with no angle, so they mount flat. That's how you can tell on that specific thing, but otherwise, I'd call that an aftermarket replacement. There has to be some room for aftermarket. I don't disagree there, but I think there's a real fine line there.
Yeah, I think it's just how you market it.
Yeah.
I mean, do they market it as axial SCX6 axle housing, or do they advertise it as a market or a aftermarket replacement?
Right. Unfortunately, too many of the small manufacturers have products done overseas in the same factory. The stuff's literally right there. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there either. When you intentionally send your design files to a nefarious company to have things manufactured, those nefarious companies do nefarious things. And it may not even be the exact same factory that the stuff that you had made in. It could be, workers or, the programming people who left that factory and went to a different factory and were like, hey, this part sold 10,000 pieces. We should just make this piece and sell it ourselves. And that could be a factor also. It may not necessarily be the exact same factory, but it could be the same person you were dealing with or the same workers that were dealing with the parts.
The fact that, like, if you Amazon search like G-Speed, the fact that all those parts have been ripped and copied and produced definitely indicates to me that they've just been doing just that and just seeing, hey, we've moved tens of thousands of these parts. Why don't we
Yeah.
just do our own batch?
Yep. Um, Top is likely the knockoff. You would be wrong, Checkered Past. Knocking off an already produced aftermarket part, i.e., Vanquish axles and wheels, trans, shocks, is a no for me. Yeah, so like Vanquish has their Capra axle housings. They're a different design. So then these companies are re-engineering and manufacturing look-alike products, and that's pretty shitty. Manufacturer spies are a thing too. That could also be. I think a lot more of it is people that saw the books and saw the numbers and saw the designs from somewhere that moved to a different factory and want to. It's just like a lawyer leaving a law firm and start going to a different law firm and trying to bring their clients with them. Except they're not bringing the client; they're just bringing the part. So, you can tell by the shock cap. You can kind of tell by the shock cap, but you have to really, really, really pay attention and really know the difference. They're very close, like very, very, very close. Josh Hibner says, American made as much as humanly possible. The production isn't cheap, but the quality and supporting the family owned is what it's about. For me, a lot of it is more supporting the family owned businesses and the small businesses like ours more than anything. Production isn't cheap. No, it's not. But it's much more about the supporting humans. Not that people overseas aren't humans, but supporting the people who support us. These Chinese factories that are knocking this shit off are not sponsoring our events. They're not going to our events. They're not participating in our events.
I was gonna kind of like troll on the post, but I think it was the LCG whatever page. There was someone posting up some product that they're definitely trying to like kind of peddle on that page. You click on their profile, you click on like their work, and it's some offshore manufacturing company, and behind the person in the background is a person manning a machine. If you zoom in, the person isn't even wearing shoes. And there's a metal machine shop. So I was like, I was gonna kind of troll on that post, but I decided to just like not.
That's on the LCG crawler page.
Yeah, this is probably like a month ago.
Yeah. Josh says that page is AIDS. That LCG and crawler page is 95% the epitome of what's wrong with the hobby. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. There's so much bad information and so much blatant tomfoolery on that page that, like, man, it reminds me like 6 years ago of the Axial RC Crawler Facebook page that was like 50,000 people. The amount of bad information that was on there was real bad.
You get that like forum. There's no like filter, so
Yeah.
the person with the biggest opinion can instantly like comment first, and
Yes.
it's up to you to decide if it's worth your, if they know what they're talking about. So if you're very new to the like community, you're not gonna pick up on that, and you're just gonna waste time and money.
You're just gonna listen to RC Sparks' advice. I honestly was going to go with the Amazon LCG chassis for a cheap line killer non-comp build, but decided since I was going V2 high-low, ordered the Oracle rails instead. You're going to be just as well off or better off with the Oracle rail than the Chinese forward skid rails. I've seen those rails in person, and just the geometry of them, they were not designed by anybody who knew what they were doing or had ever done it before. Like, hang out too long around there, going to catch something.
El Chapo knows exactly what we're referencing.
I'm not gonna put that comment on the screen, but I'm trying to get us demonetized around here tonight.
We're gonna have to.
But yes, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Income if we keep getting demonetized. Oh man.
Hey, it's happened before. It'll happen again, I'm sure.
What a trip. I don't know how. I used to watch, man, I'd watch that guy's stuff all the time, but man.
I have never been able to watch more than about 5 to 6 minutes of any video of his. I bet I've watched less than 30 minutes of his content ever.
I used to watch it up until he got some property and they started doing the fifth scale stuff a lot. Then that kind of fizzed out for me.
Yeah. Whatever pays the bills. That's Hibner's side job.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a natural progression. I'm sure he's a nice person.
I'd get a beer with that guy.
I bet he's got stories to tell.
I'm not saying how long I hang out for the stories, but I'd listen, you know.
Been very pleased. My Project Root Beer float has done very well against G speeds and negative G builds. 0 complaints. Good to hear. Glad to hear it. Oh, now you're worried? You just now got worried? You've been watching this show for 42 weeks and you just now got worried?
Wait, was that a thing?
If I start shaving my chest, be scared.
Was that a thing that he did?
Yeah.
I did. All right, so I didn't follow that closely. I think I saw like the initial posts he was making, and then I was like, all right, get
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Josh starts wearing button-up shirts that are undone just enough to see that he's shaving his chest.
Oh yeah, Josh wasn't in early enough to hear about the G-string line of braces.
Yeah, Wesley's gonna design a new. Yeah. Yep. I need Harley to bring his Gladiator to Badlands to wheel with us.
He really doesn't, because that Gladiator's got like another foot of wheelbase, I think.
So that V-notch climb that I smashed the rear quarter in, a Gladiator did go up behind me on the 38-inch Mickey Thompson Pro X's, sticky Pro X's. And it took him a lot of tries and a lot of gusto to get up it. And at the bottom of the climb, it looked like somebody took a excavator scoop of dirt out from the rear bumper and the rear frame rails and the entire back of the damn thing.
Hard pass.
It's pretty wild. Did the gold aluminum drop yet? Yes, and they already sold out. They lasted about an hour and a half. But never fear. There will be more eventually sometime. I'm just going to kind of rotate through small batches of things and update things along the way.
Yeah, that's my only decision now is, do I do these again or leave these I only made 5. I would have done more, but to orchestrate all the kits, it'd have been more time. I was really trying to get something out because honestly, I've been talking about or like first of the month drop since like the beginning of the year, and it's already April.
And this is the first one that actually
So
happened.
here we go. We got a few. My goal is to do something different every month. And I think I'm gonna do the next one is gonna be we're gonna have more than 5. Also, I think it's just gonna be a frame set to kind of keep costs maybe a little lower. Although I said that about this, but once you sent these trays and how nice it looked, we kind of went whole hog on this. But the next batch, there'll be, I think I got 10 frame sets, but it's going to be a frame that wasn't offered like on the site ever. So I think we'll do small limited releases like of unreleased stuff. I got some other ideas for this platform. I think some people might be interested in. Again, it won't be anything we've had on the site before, so might be cool. Might sit on them. I don't know. I'm gonna be gauging that if this is worth my time to do these cool little batches here. I'm shooting for all of them to be anodized gold too, so if you see one up for sale or something, you know that that's a special one. It's
Yeah.
like no others out there.
Everyone wants purple. Yeah, I mean, you could do purple anodizing. Purple forged carbon. So I'm not
That's
I'm
your
not
expertise.
sure. I'm not sure that forged carbon fiber is the right choice for a chassis. I know that Corrupt sells forged carbon chassis, and I haven't seen any complaints of breakages, but I just don't know if the forged carbon is as strong as regular woven carbon. I mean, it feels like you're relying entirely on the resin in a forged carbon chassis versus relying on the resin and the material. I could be completely wrong. I know Josh's bodies are holding up fine that were forged carbon, but I just don't know. I just don't know.
You've got your phone handy. What's the official definition of forged? Because when I think of forged carbon fiber, I think of like MDF wood. It's just is it right? MDF? No, I'm not thinking of the right. What's the wood that's just a bunch of chips pressed and glued together? I don't.
MDF,
That
OSB,
isn't.
MDF.
Because I thought forged is like compressed steel at like a very high temp, which is not what you.
Yeah, but the term forged in carbon fiber is
I
like
think that's a
chopped
selling
up.
point.
It's chopped up pieces of carbon fiber that's all laid in with resin and whatever.
It's not
Pretty much
forged.
all. I mean, if you want to be technical about it, pretty much everything we do with carbon plate is forged because it's pressed flat and low void. Right. I mean, technically, in my opinion, that is forged because it's not just layered and air curing. It's actually, pressed and vacuumed to make the sheets. But I don't know. I don't know if forged is the way to go.
I came across I only say that because I came across an article today actually talking about how forged carbon was just like a marketing term. It's not actually forged.
It's just chopped up strands.
It's
glued
together.
Are the front trays available now? No, they're not in stock.
No,
I don't have any of the printed pieces. Wesley was updating the design on those, so we need to get those back in stock.
Waiting on a few things. again, with us doing stuff here in house, I can just update this and start getting it made. I am gonna print like a prototype of this before I go and order like 50 or 100 of these. But that just seems like the responsible thing I should do.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, because we do manufacture in the States, I can prototype this and get it sent out and have, like, I could change everything on the fly, which was not everyone that makes parts in like any kind of large number can do that. So
Yeah. Zach, so Purple Weave, there is a company in the US that offers purple silk weave carbon fiber, but it is only on one side of the carbon, and the back side is a rough textured peel ply. And I don't want that. I want both sides, and I want both sides glossy, and I want it to just be normal. There's a company in China that does the blue, the red, the green, the gold, the common ones that you see on the market now. There's a Chinese company that makes that stuff. They will do purple, but you have to order like 10 sheets at a time, I think was what they told me. And it was like $5,000. So I never.
So we don't do pre-sales, but maybe for something like that.
I don't want to spend $5,000 on Chinese carbon fiber for it to suck. Like,
True. Yeah. I wonder if they could send a sample.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I don't think they will make the sheets unless you order them. Like, I don't think they have a sample.
We're too boutique and small volume to
Yeah.
kind of make that leap. I mean, that's your own call. I'm good.
Yeah. This isn't a bad option. Anodized purple aluminum with forged purple carbon, forged accessories. So like you can do the forged carbon with the purple foil mixed into it. That looks really good. I've seen a lot of that stuff, and it does look really good. That could be an option.
Dang, Checkard, you're trying to get Brett all wired up tonight.
I drove those trucks like 3 times. Well, the body's held up for the 3 times you drove them, and I know you drive them reasonably. So, brazen drivers should be considered royalty. So gold makes sense. Yeah, sure. There was a post of one CCW chassis breaking this weekend. Well, I mean, was it a forged carbon or was it a regular? There's a couple of designs from CCW that have some small cross surface area that look suspect to breakage.
But if it's within reason, I'm pretty sure Austin will take care of someone.
Yeah, Zach said I think it was an older Reaper, which is normal weave. Yeah, I mean, like Wes had just said, I'm sure Austin will handle it, so it'll be fine. I just misdrilled them. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I actually did like 3 weeks ago. Finally, throw away all 72. I counted them as I threw them away. All 72 of those skid plates that were misdrilled. That hurt. I mean,
it's good you let go.
I did.
You're having those like ex-girlfriend tendencies.
Yeah.
Holding
I mean, the 72 of them at $25 a piece retail. That hurt. I hated that. I hated it. We're going to get hella bougie this year. I love it. Right? My friend produced a drift chassis, and we looked at the colored carbon fiber. It was definitely tricky and spindy. Yeah, and just finding it in the U.S. is the hardest part. Finding it made in the U.S. is the hardest part, and it be glossy both sides, or even just finished both sides. I don't care if it's a matte finish or a satin finish or a gloss, but I want it to have the same weave on both sides, and I want it to be the same finish on both sides, and that's the difficult part. You can find different regular weaves of carbon, but finding the glossy or finding the colored stuff is difficult.
It'd be a pain, but is there a way to pour resin on the non-finished side, or is that's you're not to sign you up for a some BS, but
I mean, I guess I think
there might be some adhesion differences. Maybe you'd have to find the same kind of epoxy, or not epoxy, but like resin or whatever.
But I mean, then it'd be no different than pouring concrete on top of other concrete. It'll just pop right off, even if it's the same concrete. So, I don't think it'll work. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to advocate for Brett to get you some cool carbon, but the suppliers suck.
Yeah. James, it's definitely on my list of things to do. I need to sit down and actually look at the schedule. I was talking to Robert on Facebook a couple weeks ago about it. So I think he sent me the dates. Inbox. Yeah, he sent me the dates that he had posted. Yeah, that's not gonna fucking work. The June 9th one, I could probably make the June 9th one happen. That's the Sunday after the Ultra 4 race at Badlands, so I'll already be at Badlands. So it would only be like an hour-ish drive, hour and a half drive from Badlands to there, and then the 2.5 hour drive home. I could probably make that one. The July one is the weekend before. July 7th is the weekend before I go out of town, and the 21st is the weekend I come back from out of town, so that's not going to work.
We almost had another power outage issue like last time.
Oh, yeah? Doggo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe let's go. Yeah. I looked into making my own carbon fiber sheets. Really isn't cost effective. No, it's not. It's really not. Hibby's hell bent to get me in a vehicle. Yeah. Josh misses me, man. He hasn't been over. He used to, his old job, he worked nights, so he could just swing over here in the morning and then go to work. Typically a pretty decent turnout and a good time. I know, I need to get down there. It's high on my priority list. Getting down there is much higher on my priority list than like going to Super Shafty is, if I'm honest. Just going down, I mean, it's local. It's 2.5 hours away. But it's still 5 hours worth of driving in a day. So to play tiny trucks for 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Jake Ferkel and the boys is trying to get me to go to ECC, but that's a 14-hour drive. I don't know if I ever disclose that.
Yeah.
Me playing into Josh's Midwestern name that I've not forgotten. I'll drive. I don't fly. I drive places, man. Josh Lee posted that meme a while ago that was like Midwesterns be like, I'll drive that. It's like a 24
Yeah,
hour.
it's only 23 hours, no big deal.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't forgotten about that.
Yeah,
It sits in my head when I'm like, oh yeah, 8 hour drive, that's nothing.
yeah,
But in my defense, being in the center of Texas, it's 8 hours is the closest. That's the shortest drive out of the state.
yeah,
It's 8 hours. So
yeah.
outside of Texas, that drive to UCC is only six. No, my oh yeah, 6 more hours. Yeah, my math was right.
Yeah. Is your phone actually plugged in and charging this time?
It is, yeah. Well, my screen
So,
went dim, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't hit the button. So yeah.
uh, when I was at King of the Hammers, I got out of the toter home after driving for 39 hours, and Josh flew from NorCal to LA and then drove an hour and a half. Instead of driving 6 hours, they dealt with airport crap and flew probably a 45-minute flight and then still had to drive an hour and a half.
Uh,
Like, you could have been there without messing with the airport traffic.
Josh could have drove through Yosemite, then down 395, and had a beautiful drive.
If it was just Josh, he might have, but
Oh, as a crew.
yeah, it was Jim and Brandon were with him. That's because I had two West Coast people with me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Hibby needs a house and a shower so he can fall down the side of the hill. You got to watch Hibby. You got to keep him on a leash. Don't let him get out of sight.
Speaking of property, I found a house. So I went. I don't golf, but my friends are like, "Do you want some beers and drive us around the golf course?" So I was like, "I'll be there shortly." There was this house next to one of the greens, and it had a for sale sign, and it had a cool pool in the front. And then in front of the pool, like the front yard, there was a drop off to the road. Like the road was a downhill. So in the pool, you had this cool hill view. And then behind was the golf course and a cool shop down the hill. Um, I was like, let me look this house up. 519. What's sad is
Honestly,
it wasn't a
honestly,
bad house for 519, I felt. But man, never thought
but
I'd
like
say
the amount of property and house you can have in Kentucky or Tennessee for 500
yeah.
is insane compared to a golf course HOA house in Austin. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to deal with the HOA. It doesn't matter if the house is free. The HOA I'd be out quick.
Well, that's the thing. My buddy that lives out, so it's Lago Vista is the town. The HOA is 19 a year, and my buddy has a 30-foot RV, a 20-something foot Yamaha boat, two jet skis in a trailer, a Honda Integra in his front yard, a Skyline in the garage, a Tesla, and an
So
Explorer in the driveway. And they don't know
there's
nothing
not
about.
people from California in his neighborhood yet.
They don't. They haven't hassled them about any of that stuff. So, as far as HOAs go, I think he's got the coolest HOA I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
So,
Jesse, do you mean the aluminum sliders, the sliders? Because I don't know what's the inventory level on sliders.
I can tell you right now by looking.
Angled sliders, I show 2 left in stock.
That's accurate.
And the 0 degrees, I show 7 sets in stock.
Yep.
Oh, the front mount, they're not in stock yet. We talked about that a little bit ago. We've got to redo Wesley already redesigned the printed brace piece.
Since it's a hot commodity, I'll make it my objective to print off a prototype tonight. I'll put it on our story to prove it.
Yeah,
Although it's a 3D printer, so you'll see that at 1 a.m. or
7:45 tomorrow.
7:45 Josh time.
519 sounds like a steal after living in this state. Yeah, that's houses on the golf course are 900 and up there. I mean, there's houses here on golf courses that are 900 and up too. I mean, I guess it just kind of depends on the HOA and how bougie they want to be.
Yeah, the HOA out
Texas.
Miami is cool.
Texas HOAs, no calibers less than 9mm allowed.
Maybe out there. My other friends with HOAs, no. The wrong color recycle bin to the left of the garage door. He's getting hammered. Like, dude, HOA.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's. I can't say a lot because I don't own property, but the HOAs my friends deal with makes buying property so unattractive.
Yeah. Battery strap slits in the sliders. I don't personally like battery strap slits in the sliders. The battery strap ends up underneath the slider, and then that gives you an extra hang-up point. So I use Velcro on everything.
That's also I have shared opinions on that, which I did consider when designing these. I've had them to where there's the Velcro, but I could show you my sliders and where the rock rash is on the sliders, and it is right where that Velcro strap would be. I've also looked at doing 3D printed ones where there's a integrated slot inside of the plastic for a Velcro, but then then you need a thicker slider, so now you're getting more weight. I mean, Velcro.
Or somebody will have a strap that's a little wider that doesn't fit through the slot, and then they're pissed.
I'd have to specify. You need the Vanquish, 010101 battery tie-down strap.
and then Vanquish should be out of those for 6 months, like the stubby kits. We released a chassis that requires a stubby kit, and then they were out of stubby kits.
Some would say that it was an inside job.
Josh says, "Shut it." Yeah. when the stubby kits came back in stock, a lot of those chassis sold like immediately.
It's a symbiotic relationship, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah. Heavy duty Velcro all day. That's 100% accurate. I 100% agree with you. Now, I'm not going to say that I have not ever had a battery pop off of Velcro, because I have, but it absolutely deserved to come off of the Velcro.
What's funny is on my chopped up truck I've been putting on the story lately, I have the aluminum tray. No Velcro strap. I just have a double-sided Velcro on top of these slotted holes.
Mm-hmm.
Just mainly because I'll stick a battery here, or I'll put it on the slider. I alternate. If I'm going to be doing a lot of vertical stuff, I'll actually put the battery level with the drivetrain.
Yeah. I wondered about the strap idea. Which Velcro do you use? I personally just order self-adhesive backed heavy-duty Velcro from McMaster-Carr. Comes on a cardboard roll about yay big. It is kind of spendy to order a roll of it, but I've had the same rolls for probably 5 or 6 years now, and I'm just now to the point where, like, I need to probably order more of one of, because you order like the rough side and the soft side separately. They come on separate rolls, and I'm almost out of one of them, but I have plenty of the other one.
Checkered. if you're gonna put it on like the raw aluminum, rub it with some isopropyl alcohol. Just a clean surface.
Yeah. The 3M Extreme
Also,
Velcro is crazy too. Any of the the harder ones that like mechanically like lock in are much better than what I use, but I've not had enough of an issue to make me want to switch from what I have to that. Um, like I said, every time that a battery has come off of a slider of mine, like it was a serious fall,
yeah.
and it deserved to come off. Put a dab of CA on the back of it too. I do that on my batteries. On the battery side, whatever Velcro I put on the batteries, I typically put a little bit of CA on the battery ones.
I dip my batteries in salt water before applying the Velcro
First.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Make
so
sure you
that
get the
was
connector.
yeah, the balance plug. Get all that in there. All right, no, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. That's our April Fool's joke for the day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Is Theron still in here? I'll get up and go get my Velcro if Theron's gone. But he's probably still in here.
I got up to make sure my phone didn't turn off.
Yeah.
So
It's earned the ejectocito. Yeah, and the most of the time, like with my comp trucks, the interior is normally touching the top of the battery too. So that helps a lot. Like, it's stuck on the Velcro on the bottom and the interior is sitting on top of it. So it usually can't come off of there. I'd recommend that on any application. It gets rid of the crap that won't let it stick. Yeah. Yeah. Alcohol wipe on anything you're trying to stick to anything needs to be clean.
Yep. I've been learning that's pretty important when you're trying to 3D print. I would say I'm a while off before I ever offer anything that I print for people to buy. That's why
Did you get anywhere on your body this week?
Actually, honestly, I think I'm scooting. Nothing physically done on it, but I did get paint matched Nebula Gray. So it's gonna be paint matched to my my 1-1. So I thought this was gonna be expensive. Now my idea of cheap, it's not cheap, but I thought it was gonna be, I was maybe thinking like $60 for a whole aerosol of paint matched Lexus paint. $34. I think that's not too bad. Because I'm definitely not the one to buy I'm not trying to burn anyone that does do airbrushing, but I have
You're not an
nothing.
airbrusher.
I have no airbrushing tools or anything of that sort, so I'm not buying a whole get up just for one body. So a
Nope.
charged air saw of Lexus Nebula Gray. It is IH9 for $34. So, and I got nice clear. So that's what I did this week.
I should probably look up and see how much Jeep Rescue Green is because I'm gonna need to fix the missing paint.
I think so. I thought Sherman Williams used to do that. I called Sherman Williams locally. Apparently they don't pick up phones, so I called a small shop. Not really in the ghetto, but it was kind of in the ghetto. uh, and they got it hooked up. It was like a 25-minute drive. They were like, "We'll have it in 25 minutes." So I was like, "Perfect. This is meant to be." But you might have luck at Sherman Williams. I did the chrome pin on the grill just to motivate me.
Looks good.
Other than that, not made much headway. I did find another like spot that I wanted to put filler in to smooth out. My worst fear is I'm gonna put like a nice coat of paint on this thing, and I'm gonna see all. I think I
Yeah.
just need to be okay with seeing that and just call it.
Yeah. Did your headlights ever show back up?
I've not seen them where they shipped USPS.
No, he shipped them. He shipped them USPS the first time, and they went right back to Vanquish.
Yeah. I've not seen them yet. I don't know if you can DM me the tracking.
Let me see. Jeep Rescue Green aerosol.
Also, there's some distributors on Amazon, but for me at least, they're all shipped USPS. So I was like,
TouchUpDirect.com has Jeep Rescue Green PJR color and clear aerosol cans for $56. Best
That's
for
a-
superficial light scratches.
there you go. That's all you.
Here's a poll. Here's a poll for the chat. Is this a superficial light scratch? Or would I be better off making and printing a Band-Aid sticker that says definitely not a dent?
Dude, I would take some like 1,000 grit to rough it up, and I would touch that up and clear it, and then
Dude,
call it a day.
I mean, there's not, like, it's almost torn. Like,
Is that the F-150 aluminum body? What is that? Is that a metal masher?
yeah, it might as well be.
I
Like,
should have known when you started sending those pics. I was like, I've seen his metal mashers. I was shocked, and then all of a sudden I wasn't shocked. We'll see, Zach, if he leaves it as is. Those scratches are gonna be brown in a month.
yeah,
Deep
like
brown.
this, there's no missing paint, but like that, I think a paintless dent remover guy could probably get most of that rear quarter out. But the rocker, there's nothing going to fix that other than like actual bodywork and painting. But I am going to have to do something like very, very soon because it's actively currently raining outside today, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and it's supposed to rain the next day. So like it's going to turn to rust very, very, very fast if I don't do something about it. And I do not want to like paint the bottom eighth of my Jeep black. Like I just don't. I refuse.
Don't. I would either clear coat it or maybe give it your best sand. And so
I think I'm going.
$6, it'd be worth maybe an hour of your time.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order aluminum rocker guards. Aluminum rocker armor, and I'm going to drill all the holes and put all the riv nuts in, and I'm going to mount the rocker armor and kind of mark off where the rocker armor is, and then I'll sand it and bedline or paint whatever behind where the rocker armor is going to be, so that you can't see it behind the rocker armor, but it's going to, I can't leave it bare paint. I can't leave it bare metal. That's just not.
See, that's
not
why I'm jealous. I get jealous of the Jeep people, man, because I can't. Like, I have to like make stuff for the Lexus because nobody makes the stuff I'm trying to do. So,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could just take a picture and lay it out on like a canvas and have rockers made, but because
I could,
Jeep,
but
they're what, like a 200? How much are those covers? They got to be cheap.
The 3/16 aluminum rocker armor from Moto Built are like $250. It's not worth my
Oh,
time.
jealous.
I could design some, but they've got
Well,
like three brakes. Got like three brakes in them to contour the rocker, plus the material, plus my time. I'm just gonna order a set of Moto Built ones. I'm debating on steel or aluminum. The aluminum ones are gonna dent, just like this did. The steel ones are
steel's gonna
probably gonna
rust.
dent too, but the steel's gonna rust. So, like, I think I would rather just have if it's gonna dent anyway, whether it's steel or aluminum. I'd rather just dent the aluminum, not dent and rust.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
I could design them and have them done in 1/4 inch aluminum instead of 3/16.
you're gonna spend like $1,500.
I don't
Buy it.
know.
It's
Like I
cheap.
said, I'm not upset about it. I bought the Jeep to wheel. It's not that big a deal, but I do need to do something about the bare metal before it turns into a big deal because it is a rust-free Jeep, and I want to keep it a rust-free Jeep.
Yeah.
So
I did I
that
tell you
needs to
about
happen.
these brackets I made?
A little bit, not like I
So
know
I put
you had lights that clipped into something and you needed to move them.
yeah, I had lights that clipped into the factory step sides on the Lexus. So when I got sliders, that all comes off. But I still like the lights. Actually, if you leave the door open, the lights shining under the truck are so bright, you could actually check your like transfer case oils and stuff. It's pretty decent. So I wanted to keep that. So I made these mounts that use factory hardware, all factory little guide holes for the light. I posted these on a Lexus forum. I had like 8 people that were like, I'm in for a set. So nobody makes stuff. So if you design stuff, make it, you have, you can make like a little bit extra money. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah,
It's cool
definitely.
that it's cool that there's people out there. They're like, send me an invoice. I was like, I didn't think anybody would be like be interested in that. There's actually a guy sending me like the GX 470 lights, um, because they're different than the GX 460. Um, so I'll be making a set for the GX 470 too. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. The only thing I've done for the JK, there's a bunch of different mounting options for like on the dash for like RAM balls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the phone case and charger, wireless charger, and mounting setup that I have runs a 22 millimeter ball, which is a weird size. And they're like, there's just not a lot out there for a 22 millimeter ball.
Yeah, what's the RAM
And
mount? That's like 1 inch, right?
yeah, 1 inch or inch and a quarter, or 1 inch or inch and a half. There's two different RAM ball sizes.
The 22, that is a weird size.
Yeah, so and I didn't like where I wanted. There's two holes in the JK A pillar right up by the windshield, up at the top corner. So I made a 22 millimeter ball with a 3/4 inch shank and a M6 bolt through the center of it, to mount my phone mount up in the driver top corner of the windshield, and two of the gladiators that came up behind me when I was doing the climb that crushed the rear quarter panel. So what I pulled up on that obstacle, and like 5 gladiators come around the corner. One of them was built, and the rest of them were pretty stock with just like wheels and tires on them. No way they were going to even attempt that obstacle. So I had a freaking crowd of people watching me. But the one guy noticed my phone mount up in the top corner with the Onyx pulled up. And he's like, dude, where'd you get that mount? I'm like, oh, I made it. He's like, how the hell did you make that? I'm like, CNC lathe. Like, I spent way too much time and money fucking
Yeah.
around trying to make this stupid mount for my phone. And if I'm honest, I need to redesign it and move it down because like it's way too high up. Like you actually like, not that I want my phone in my face, but like you can't unlock your phone when it's up there because the facial recognition doesn't work, and I don't like taking my eyes off of what I'm doing long enough to type my passcode in. Like,
Right.
And a Jeep windshield's pretty small anyway, so it's if I move it down, I'm afraid it's going to be a big blind spot. But I don't want it up there in the top corner anyway. But that's the only thing I've designed. But those guys all were interested in it down there.
I'm surprised they don't make something because, like,
they make a bunch of different dash mounted stuff, like the grab handle. There's plastic covers that come off, and there's bolts through there. So they make ram balls for those, and like there's other places on the dash, like the top cubby compartment on the top of the dash. There's a bunch of different mounts that come off of that. But my Jeep has the Super Chips Pro Dash or Trail Dash on it.
Gotcha.
So that pocket's gone. So none of those mounting things will work. What's your opinion on side lugs on the side of your tires? Prefer to have them or shave them? Like Zach said, side lugs don't bother me as long as they aren't overly aggressive. So, like the trencher lugs wrap pretty far down the sidewall, but they're a fairly small lug. They provide just enough where if there's dirt on a rock, it gives the dirt a place to go. But if I don't have a pair of tires handy in front of me that have big lugs on the sidewalls, but if they have big lugs, it can bounce the truck. I don't like any big lug tires personally because anytime a tire bounces, you're losing traction.
Yeah.
So the only time you need a deeper tread is if there's dirt. But if there's wet dirt, it's going to pack in the deep lugs anyway. So small lug tires you can spin the dirt out of just as easy as big lug tires with power. So I don't ever shave sidewalls on tires personally, but I also don't run tires like the SCX6 Super Swampers look great, except the size of the side lugs looks like 10% over the size that it should be. It looks like bogger side lugs instead of like regular Super Swamper side lugs. You know that's a Chrysler product, right? Yes, all of my vehicles are Chrysler products, and they all run great. This one's for you.
I've not heard of that. But in my defense, the GX stuff is going to be different than the Prado. Although, when I was cutting my step boards for the sliders, I was like, I could probably just get the Prado factory plastic rocker panel sides and get them painted. That was my plan B if I ruined the factory steps when I cut those. Thankfully I didn't, but that was an option. But it'd have been good to know about that website if that's the route I had to go down. It's funny you mentioned like the side lugs. I was just looking at my trenchers and I was noticing how much the sidewall on those has been worn down. I want to say those will be nearly bald before Palooza comes around, which might be good. I don't think it really matters out there.
My RC 4-wheel drive MTRs on the blue Metal Masher, those are getting real feathered in. Like I would say they maybe have 25 to 30% tread left on them, if I had to guess. But I've been on that truck since 2018, 2017, something like that. But it really only gets driven. The only place that truck's been driven the last 3 years is Crawlapalooza and Axial Fest, Badlands. So to wear in a set of tires like that in that amount of time, but just I think the night runs are the most I drive that truck at Crawlapalooza. That's normally the one I take because it's got all the rock lights and stuff underneath it.
Yeah. I had a pretty good light game last year. I think I'm going to do rock lights this year on that same truck.
Find cool, rare RC drift stuff. Often complete cars with shipping less than what's found here.
Can I find Volvos that vape? That's what I'm after. Wait, I think I caught that video. Did he say he was gonna make the radiator drip water, but he didn't want water on the track?
I don't know. I did not. I did not watch that video yet.
I I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that'd be cool, but I don't think others would think it was so cool driving through puddles of water.
Yeah. I mean, you're already sliding around, so.
Yeah. Well, so those drift cars, they have gyros now to correct the oversteer, because everyone runs wheel drive now. So,
As long as everything's waterproof, fish. I mean, it's not like he's pouring a gallon of water on the track either. Like,
yeah, I doubt any of those cars are waterproof.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, the part that spews is a vapor. It's cool. That thing looks probably more cool than most of the cars in that club that go to that place. So I think Matt's work is well recognized over there.
Yeah.
I say that, but I think the cars that have like the magnet, like the fender's held on with a magnet, so when you bump them, the fender falls off. That's cool. As I destroy those. The drift stuff's
Yeah,
like a whole other game. That stuff's...
When I was racing off-road short course, they had those bodies. They had the fenders and stuff that all Velcroed on. I bought one of those bodies and I ran it one day and it was completely ruined. Like the paint was all chipping off of it because the fender would get knocked off and then it gets ran over for 10 minutes. And then, it's all, the Velcro's all packed full of clay and the paint's all chipping off of it. And it was so bad. Every lap or every race, you're out there picking up all four fenders off the track in random places and carrying them in your pockets because you're trying to turn marshal and didn't want to run back to your table, and it was bad. It was bad. I assume drifting would be a little different than off-road short course, but
there's a local-ish shop probably 20 minutes away from me, and they have like a fully decked out drift course that I want to check out. But at the same time, I don't want to go check it out because I know how I get with stuff like that. I'm going to end up buying one, and then I'm going to be spewing vapor out of the grill just like Matt in 2 months' time.
Yeah. Well, Metal Masher built that drift car that was a Chevelle. He painted it purple. Was it a Chevelle or a Nova, whatever it was? He built a drift car.
That'd be cool. Yeah, an actual dentable lot. That'd be cool. See, I don't need involved in this. I'm gonna refrain.
Right. It's gonna end up costing a bunch of money.
It'd be cheaper to make 1/4-inch aluminum panels for Jeeps.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And like even the rear bumper,
That's too good.
super cool. It's a Chevelle. Definitely cool. And, I've been watching. Obviously, I pay attention to Metal Masher's builds, but every time he posts up something cool, it makes me want to finish my truck. I had him do the cage work and all that stuff, and I had sent him an inspiration picture on what I wanted the bed cage to look like, and he did it pretty close to what I wanted, but like the down bars, the angled down bars go from the top corner of the cab to the rear corner of the bed at just whatever that angle ended up being. But I only wanted them to go from the cab to like the middle of the bed. So it doesn't look like the inspiration picture that I'm looking at. So I'm having a hard time seeing the finished thing. You know what I mean? It makes me want to rebuild the bed cage. But also, he did such a good job building the bed cage that I don't want to rebuild it or cut it apart.
Is that was it made out of the stainless DOM or what?
I don't know I assume it's just regular steel tubing of some kind.
You're about to get a nice crash course in stainless DOM tubing. You could make another bed or another cage.
I could. I think I would probably sooner build a new bed cage than modify the one that he built. It sucks though because like we did spend quite a bit of money having him do that, and like I'm just having a hard time seeing it.
Yeah, no, I get that. The I guess we're in our last couple of minutes here. I guess thanks for all who pulled the trigger on these kits. You're not going to regret them. They look. I kind of want this one, um, although I can't refund someone a random person their order. So they're
Yeah,
all
he
going to
sold
go
all
out.
of them.
Sold all of them.
Yeah,
But check in Friday. I'll be posting pics of this because it's pretty hard to get the textures and stuff to come across on the live stream. But
yeah.
C1 Pro leafers and black anodized this Friday, 6 o'clock. I think that's a pretty decent time for everybody.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I have. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna prototype print an updated front clip for the battery tray so I can get that stuff coming, as well as get some DSMs coming. I think I got was it leaf overs I'm out on. I need to get a batch of those ordered. Um, yeah, I think it's the overs. But other than that, that's about it for me this week.
I've got carbon coming tomorrow. I think I've got 4 sheets of carbon coming, but I think I'm gonna be out of carbon by like Thursday, so I'm gonna order some more carbon tonight or tomorrow morning. Just with current pending orders, I think I'm gonna be basically out of carbon. So, but front trays will be coming. Now we're sounding like a Sparks video. I wouldn't know. Never seen them, but
You can see the OnlyFans link below in our bio.
yeah.
Only feet.
Yeah. Do you guys use washers on fasteners so they don't scratch the anodizing? I mean, you could. I don't personally mind or care that much.
I don't really tighten them that hard.
No, I don't normally crank stuff down like that either.
I thought about looking into those. Was it this? What are they? What kind of washers are those? The cylindrical ones.
Cone
But
cone shape.
Yeah, there's a technical term for it, which
Yeah.
escapes me as conical washers. There you go. Big Jeeps rescuing me.
Yeah.
Conical washers. I've looked into buying batches, but we've never supplied hardware with our kits. Again, it's another thing I'm gonna have to like. Our parts catalog is kind of like gotten kind of large, so I would need to start upping my organizational game and my area for that, which being where I am is kind of already an issue.
Yeah.
But washers do
Um,
work, but I haven't personally ran them.
yeah. Yeah. Robert, so I was looking at the dates you sent me earlier in the stream, and it says April 7th, 0-2 comp. Is that class 0 and class 2? No class 1? Or is that class 0, class 1, and class 2? Class 0 to class 2? Because I don't see anything that says class 1 on it. And that's my favorite thing to do. So, if you could answer that for me, that'd be cool. But this weekend, I will be out of town. I'll be in southern Indiana. I'll actually be at Clifty Falls State Park. So, this weekend, I will not be available. I think the first one that I'll be available to get to would potentially be the May 19th and then the June 9th. Class 0, 1, and 2. Okay, cool. But yeah, so not this time, but potentially May 19th and June 9th. At any rate, thanks everybody for checking in on a Monday evening with us again. Inventory should be fairly accurate on the website. If things are out of stock, they're on their way or will be on their way soon.
Working on it.
Working on it, yeah. But otherwise, first we rock June 2nd. So I'll be at Badlands June 6th through the 8th. Well, 5th through the 8th. So it's going to be much easier for me to show up there on the 9th than it would be on the 2nd and then come home and then go back to, at any rate. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks everybody for checking in. Gonna get out of here, get home for the night, and get back here in the morning.
Cool. We appreciate you guys.
Yep. Thanks everybody.